Hey guys, Tris TV here. Today I'm going to be ranking the Championship goalkeepers. If you have any suggestions or you disagree, please leave it in the comments, starting off with Ethan Horvath. He did very well as a backup goalkeeper to Brice Samba when he was injured, and I think now that he's got a full season in the Championship, we'll be able to see how good he is, because there have been great games that he's produced in, but we just like to see if he can do it in 46 games of a season. But so for now, he's unproven. Zach Steffen, his first full season in the Championship, he's only really been limited to cup appearances at Manchester City because it's very hard to displace Ederson as number one. But good, he has had very good games, and similar to Horvath, we'd like to also see if he can do it over a season. So for now, he's unproven. Bartosz Białkowski, of course, for 3 seasons in a row, he's been there with the top goalkeepers in terms of clean sheets, and it just looks very experienced, very calm, knows the Championship well, and it definitely does help the team play well and score goals. And he's also can keep Millwall in games if the game's very tight, so I'd say very good. Freddie Woodman, he's been great on his loan spell at Swansea City when he was there for 2 seasons, helping them reach the playoffs in their second season, and he kind of built up his confidence very well. He looked like a goalkeeper that just knew the Championship and had been there for years, and I think his presence really helped all the players during that playoff campaign, and I think Preston are very lucky to have him as a goalkeeper, so I'd say very good. Tim Krul, of course, helped Norwich get promoted twice, and one of the best shot stoppers in the Championship, and there's no more words I can really say except quality. Seny Dieng, really tall, athletic goalkeeper, got great reach, which is very helpful for the QPR side because they face lots of shots on their goal and they have to defend from many set pieces that they give away. But I really think Seny Dieng has grown well into his goalkeeping role, and I think any Championship side would be lucky or even would benefit from having him. I wouldn't say he's up there with the best goalkeepers, but he does have the potential and he's done really well, so I'd say solid. Joe Lumley, he does cause a bit of divide in the Middlesbrough fan base. Did have quite a while at QPR, but just was only limited to playing in the Championship, and there are some games where he looks on top of his game, but sometimes it's the lapses in concentration that really let him down, and his distribution, and with that you can't afford to be losing concentration or making mistakes in the Championship, so I'd say average. Victor Johansson, of course, got relegated during his campaign and is still at Rotherham United, but it was only really his first season and the whole team didn't really play well that season, and I think now that he's kind of got a second season in the Championship, we'll be able to kind of see if he's kind of grown or got better since that campaign, and I do believe he can get better the more games he plays, and I do believe that it might help him the more games he plays, but for now, unproven. Wes Foderingham had a great campaign with Sheffield United in his first season in the Championship, helping them reach the playoffs and looked kind of very good, helped Sheffield United stay in games that they might have lost, or it was very difficult to break the other team down. And I do think he does have the potential as well to become a top or very good championship goalkeeper, but he's not really had enough seasons in the championship, so I'd put him in the unproven category. Joseph Bursic, he hasn't reached his peak yet at a goalkeeper, so he still has some time to develop, because you can see in the games that he does play, there are some inconsistencies in his game where sometimes he might go on a great run of games being one of the best keepers in the league, but sometimes he might lose concentration and might kind of switch off and kind of have a few bad games. But I think as he kind of grows, he might learn from more experienced goalkeepers, and I think if he knuckles down and stays focused, then I think he can be one of the top keepers in the championship. But for now, I'd say average. John Ruddy helped Wolverhampton Wanderers and Norwich City in their promotion season, and he's just one of those experienced goalkeepers that you'd love to learn off in the dressing room. He just looks very calm, very composed when saving shots, doesn't try to rush his distribution when he's playing the ball out from the back, and I think that without him it would have been difficult for Norwich or Wolverhampton Wanderers to get promoted despite the quality players that he had around him. So I'd have to say quality. Anthony Patterson, I have not seen too much from this goalkeeper. Of course, he did have a good season helping Sunderland gain promotion last season, and from the few games I have seen from Sunderland this season, he has looked very good, has pulled off some great saves as well to keep Sunderland in the game, and it's still kind of early days to kind of judge him, and he's not really played enough games in the championship, and it's only his first season, so he's an unproven goalkeeper, but he will get better. Andy Fisher, of course, signed by Russell Martin in the winter transfer window to kind of deputise for Ben Hamer, and from some of the games he has played really quality, but you can see, because he hasn't got too much experience of the championship and has only been playing in League One, you can see some of the inconsistencies that he does have as well. But I do think with the right coaching and the right learning that he has at Swansea, I think he can kind of solidify himself and make sure that he is one of the championship's top keepers, because there has been quality shown. It's just if he can consistently do it. But I think with the more seasons he has in the championship, it will definitely help, but because he hasn't played enough, it's unproven as well. Daniel Bachmann, another goalkeeper who played back up to Ben Foster during Watford's promotion campaign. He did deputise well for the injured Foster as well, and I can see his qualities very commanding. You can definitely hear his presence on the pitch, makes himself known, and I think it's just a benefit to have someone with those leadership qualities. If he can continue those, then Watford definitely do have a great Championship goalkeeper, but because he's also not played enough games, it's unproven as well. David Button is kind of a bit of a decline over the years, because he was a first choice goalkeeper during his time at Brentford, and he did very well helping Brentford get promoted from League One, stay in the Championship, perform very well, but he's kind of been now reduced to the second choice goalkeeper, and I think he's not, when he has been played when a first choice goalkeeper has injured, he's not exactly lit up or like stood out. And I think what he kind of needs to do is like just kind of put in some top performances and try and prove people wrong, because there are some games where you do think that he's playing amazing, but it's just very inconsistent as well, and for that I'm gonna say average. Ben Amos, another very tall and athletic goalkeeper. I think even though Wigan Athletic, each of his seasons he's been in the Championship, he's been relegated with Charlton and Wigan respectively, I think that he's kind of looked very good in those campaigns, and I was surprised that no Championship team decided to buy him at the end of those relegation campaigns. And I do think he's a solid goalkeeper to have if you want to be mid-table, or you want to kind of be in and around the safe table of the Championship. Then I'd say solid. Thomas Kaminski, I think he's been kind of amazing since he's been at Blackburn Rovers. Very good at saving shots. Can pull off like saves you think, how did he really just pull that off, or how did he do that? And he's kind of done very well considering he moved from another country and he was having to adapt to English football. But I think he's a solid goalkeeper to have. If he does continue consistently performing well, then he can be even more quality than he already is. Daniel Grimshaw, one of Neil Critchley's signings last season, as he helped Blackpool stay in the Championship. He did very well to kind of maintain the number one spot, because there was lots of competition there, but he's in his second season, so I'd like to see if he can continue that, but I'd say unproven. Daniel Bentley, I'd say he's done great since he's been in the Championship. He's a reliable goalkeeper and you kind of know what performances you're going to get from him, so I'd say solid. Muric, he's divided by some Nottingham Forest fans, but he's not had enough seasons, so I'd say unproven. Ryan Alsop, experienced head, knows the Championship quite well. If you want to stay in the Championship, he's the goalkeeper as well, so I'd say solid. Simon Moore can be very inconsistent at times, and it doesn't help that sometimes he can lapse in concentration, so I'd say average. Lee Nichols had a very good season last season, it's just if he can continue it, so I'd say unproven. And Matt and Matt Ingram. I think he's got great reflexes as well, but sometimes it's just his decision making as well that lets him down when he's passing out from the back as well. But I think if he manages to kind of stay focused as well and just keep working hard, because he is close to reaching his prime, so I think if he does definitely focus and stop the distribution mistakes, I think he can definitely move up in the ranking list. But because he's quite inconsistent, I'd have to say average.